So yeah, I will talk just about the ARS3D project, and yeah, the title is a bit provocating. So it's documenting facts and interpretations of Rs. What we are thinking, if we are talking about facts and interpretations, hopefully after the talk you will know all about that. So it's a talk together with my colleagues Ashish and Louise, and yeah, we will see what we will do in the end. So my name is Florian, and I'm some kind of research software engineer at the Römisch-Germanic Zentralmuseum in Mainz. And from my profession, I'm a geodesist, so I'm not an archaeologist. So if you have any questions on the archaeology stuff, please don't ask me. So, as you all know, we are maybe on a way to, I will call it Archaeology 4.0. So we are started in some kind of analog era over a digital era. Now here in this session, we are in some kind of semantic era of archaeology. And maybe we will end up sometimes in the knowledge era, what I will call Archaeology 4.0. And so today I will just try to tell a story about ARS from Archaeology 1.0 to 4. So at the RGZM in Mainz, we own a large collection of Rs. So we have more than 300 objects. There are some complete objects, some fragments, some molds, stamps, lamps, and lamp molds. And they are mainly produced in the 3rd AD to the 6th AD in North Africa, in Tunisia, and were traded in the whole Roman Empire. And on all of these bowls and so on, there are a lot of scenes from the Old and New Testament, but there are also a lot of other things like fish and plants and so on and so on. So, and all these objects are really well documented in analog books and digital photographs. But as you all know, we need some kind of machine-readable data to get some new answers we didn't expect that they even exist. So, and because of this, we're just doing the ARS3D project, and as Alat already said, it's a joint project between the RGZM and the I3 Mainz in Mainz, and it's founded by the Federal Ministry for Education and Research in Germany. So the main idea is that we have a 3D documentation of a multi-perspective analysis of this Rs object type, and we try to provide some data to the research community and set in some kind of new documentation standard for African Red Slip Ware in the end. So we have some kind of a lot of things to do, some kind of project circle. So in the beginning, we are right now doing the 3D digitization, and then we will do the whole semantic description of the whole objects. We'll build up some 3D geometry tools in the end, publish all the data in some kind of web portal to enable digital research in the end, and maybe to start from the beginning with other collections, not in Mainz, already, for example, in Heidelberg or Munich, or even in Tunisia, to do the same thing and have a huge collection in the web in the end. So yeah, let's start what we want to do. So the first thing is all the 3D stuff, and we are just Karina just doing the 3D scanning with a structured light scanner, with the GOM Atos triple scan in some kind of standardized scan process, and we also do, or just are on the way to develop some kind of geometry tool which will write a selection in an editor, in a web-based editor, and try to do some kind of simplified analysis to compare different parts of the objects. But more on that, there will be a talk by Karina on Friday. I think it's S45. And if you're just more interested in the 3D stuff, just join her talk. So more on the main topic of this session, so the semantic description. And as you all know, we just need a semantic model to represent some facts from the real world to the machine world in the end. And yeah, can do that in some kind of ontologies to have some kind of long-term interpretable and interoperable formats in the end. And however, it's clear the modeling of the content must meet the humanities description and analysis of the inventory. I think that's totally clear. And so in our project, we are creating an ARS3D ontology to fulfill our special requirements as structural fundament for the whole documentation. And this ontology is not really a new ontology. It's based on CIDOC-CRM with some CRM extensions. In the moment, it's CRM inf, CRM sci, and CRM dig. And we also would like to include PROV-O and some few additions to fulfill all of our requirements. So just the first idea how the ontology will look like. So in our model, objects are consisting of different features which are merged in scenes, and these are depicting some observations which can be in the end some part of an interpretation argument. So that's the whole process what we want to model in the ontology. And so an ARS object is characterized by some object, call it metadata or whatever. So we have some kind of condition of the object, an identifier, the residence, the find spot, some material, some shape, and also some period and date maybe. And if we model and try to map that to CIDOC-CRM, there will be E22 as man-made object and some other very famous CIDOC-CRM classes, and also some classes we invented new in our ontology because they are not really clear inside of CRM in the fact we want to model it semantically. And we also added a stated statement that documents some narration, normally types, which are mostly documented in books. So we have a statement which are referring to a type and to a book, and this is normally linked to an external resource. And then one important thing is that one object consists of several features which can be related to other features, and these are having observations. So features can be summed up also in some kind of scene in the end. And if we map that to CIDOC-CRM and its extensions, we use the S4 class for the observation. And at the moment, we are just have the question if we have really a man-made object in the middle at E22 or it's a E24, but it's some kind of thing we can discuss in the end. And a feature observation is assigned to n visual items which are related to a type, and this can be act or have different conditions in the end. So for example, we have an observation and the visual item could be a human or an animal or physical thing or whatever, and it could have a type like it's a visual item of an animal and the type would be a lion and so on. And then he can do something, or maybe if, for example, if it is a man, the man can do can have some action like he's standing, or in some kind of condition types, so like he has a beard, so he's bearded in the end. And the most important thing, because in the title, which just said something about interpretations. So one interpretation is based on several arguments, and this argument can refer to observations, statements, or in the end, geometry processes. And yeah, if we would just map it to CIDOC-CRM, it will look like this. So just one quick example how it will look like if we will model this object here in our ontology. So we have some object metadata. So this object is maybe complete. It have an identifier is located in the RGZM. The production place is unknown, so we are not really certain about that. It's pottery made. It's clay with slip. It's a bowl, and it's produced maybe in the late antiquity between the 4th and 5th AD. And all of this is linked to some external resources. Then we have some statements to describe the type of that bowl could be described by, for example, Hayes or Armstrong. And this is the model how we will do it. And on this plate and on this bowl, we have several appliques which are combined to some kind of scenes. So here you can see in different colors where the different appliques and sub-appliques are just some kind of hierarchically ordered and summed up in some scenes in the end. And on these appliques, as I said, we have some kind of observations. So for example, here you can see a human of a type man, and he has a beard and he is walking to the right. And in the last orange field, you can see there are two different opinions what he is doing. So maybe he's clutched by a woman behind him on his coat, or he's touched by a woman on his coat. Two different things, maybe two different interpretations in the end. And if we look at the woman, for example, you can say, okay, she's dressed with a garment, she's crouching on her knees, and she is clutching on the hem on man's coat on her left hand, or she touched man's coat in the end. So two different observations. And if we go to the interpretations in the end, and we just connect the interpretation to different observations, we can say, okay, first interpretation could be that scene is Joseph and Potiphar's wife, or the woman with an issue of blood. So Christ is healing a woman with an issue of blood. So maybe two different interpretations of the same scene. But we just try to model why you think it is like this. So the big question is how we model this in the Web 3.0 or semantic web using linked data. So we have to publish the data. And maybe you know, so in old maps, there are some dragons on it if you don't know what there really is. So we have to fight against these data dragons in archaeology. So we have to know where it is somewhere. So, and there maybe, or hopefully you all know this kind of concept. So 5-star open data, linked open data, loud data, and fair data. And in my opinion, we have to model everything like this, so our ontology too. And just a short historical excursus, just have a look on the image. Aristotle had some kind of idea of seven spheres in heaven. So maybe we could try to invent a model of 7 data spheres. So beginning from the 5-star data, on top of that, loud data, and at the really top, loud and fair data. And so try to let us model this 7-sphere data in archaeology and also in our ARS3D project. So how could that be done in our project? So the first step is to link everything to authority documents in CIDOC-CRM or to external resources which are modeled in RDF and as linked data. And we do that in our project. We just use one big thesaurus, and it's our meta index at the RGZM. We are just built them up in the, hopefully it's finished end of the year. And yeah, we just try to have this meta index, big thesaurus with all important things to have a central access point to align all of our distributed databases according to linked data principles. And there are a lot of things. It's quite, yeah, it's just like a normal thesaurus. It's linked to external resources. You can do a lot of nice things with a nice graphical user interface. You can do some hierarchically semantics in it, just have some semantical relations, but we also have some type and labels in it, but it will be too complex to explain that in this talk here. But everything is related to Score's principles in the end. And so, but what we will link in ARS3D? So for example, if we have some kind of ball here and there is Paris on it, we can link it, for example, to the Getty and to icon class. Here you can find a snake. Here maybe we can link it also to Getty or to icon class or to whatever. Then this plate here is manufactured by a potter wheel. You can also link it to, for example, to the Getty thesaurus. And if we're just looking for periods and so on, we can just choose one of the gazetteers for time, for example, for ontology or periodo or whatever, just to have an external reference in the web. So our meta index from the RGZM wants to have an REF answer. So what will be the answer of ARS3D in the end? And we want to have some linked data resources for objects, features, and statements, which we will provide via REF and an IPA at the end of the project, with hopefully all the information stored using the CIDOC-CRM ontology. So maybe and hopefully as loud and fair data. And if the project is finished in the end of 2020, it's up to you to do the last step, so the digital research, and lead maybe the African Red Slip Ware to Archaeology 4.0. And that's it. Thank you.